you have to also look at what are the things that are in your way. Most of your idols would have started, before they could start speaking, they were probably already at an instrument.
Hi, people. After a short break, we are going to continue with Chai Shop Conversations. And today's guest is going to be Kirtana Krishna, who lives in Auroville, Pondicherry, and she's a vocalist. How long have you been in Pondi now?
See, on and off, it's been actually close to 10 years, but then I'd also spent time in Bangalore, and then I'd come here for some time.
Okay.
But I think permanently it's been since 2019, so that's 4 years now.
And what have you been doing there, though?
Yeah, I came here to be a part of Adi Shakti. As you know, you've been to Adi Shakti. You know those
Yeah.
those guys and the work that they do. But then after that, I think I found a tribe of musicians from Auroville with whom I started working,
Okay.
and it just took off from there.
Mhm.
Then 2 years ago, I built a space here in Pondy, actually next to Auroville. It's called Dorian House. So I've been running that since then.
Okay.
So that's what's been happening.
So what does that space do? I mean, what is the space for?
Uh, so it's called Dorian House. It's I mean, we have a couple of rooms on rent.
Okay.
We on Airbnb, so I also run this place as an Airbnb.
Okay.
But there's also a performance space, so we try and do events. At least this year, it's been a bit sporadic. Maybe once or twice a month we do something. Mostly music. Oh, it's been only musical events so far.
Okay.
But from next year, we're trying to take it to the next level. We want to do some workshops and retreats, and really make it a. We've started the process of making this a foundation.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what it is so far.
That's so cool. So yeah, music wise, what have you been doing like professionally in Pondicherry? You've been playing with bands and stuff, right?
Yes, of course. Yeah, I've been playing with. Um, so the thing with Pondicherry, I mean, wouldn't call it Pondicherry actually because it's not Pondi, it's more Auroville. So the thing about Auroville is there is a group of really good musicians. They're few in number, but it's a really amazing community. Everybody knows each other, and everyone's interested in the kind of music that I'm interested in as well. So amongst us, we kind of form, you know, duos, trios, quartets. It's kind of like it's a collective, and sometimes a few of us are working with one particular combination, and then that shifts into something else.
Okay.
But most everyone is interested in playing certain old school jazz. I wouldn't say that what's in vogue or the current trends of jazz that everyone else is following. I don't think that's really applicable here. But the old school stuff, everyone's still interested in it, and that is it's so diverse, and that has so much learning that you can be a part of. So that's one thing. Then I have my own band, Sage for the Ages. You've also been a member of it at one point.
Yeah.
So earlier this year, I released an album with, again, Pondicherry musicians, I mean, Auroville musicians.
Okay.
And then there's this new act that we formed called Justsisters. It's a harmony vocal uh, group. So that's everything.
Nice. That's a lot of things. So basically,
Yeah,
they
that was
want.
a lot of
So
things.
yeah. So how do you manage all of these things? Like, so you have to prepare for upcoming shows, and where do you actually play? Basically, is it inside Auroville or would it be inside Pondy?
So, because there are so many different things, it's usually not always same time. You know, there will be a few months where one of the acts is more important, so that takes over your rehearsal time. And then once we're done with a few shows of that, everybody kind of wants to have their own space and not see each other. So then the other band becomes important. Um, we do play in Pondy. There aren't too many spots. There are maybe three venues that are decent, that have good sound and that pay on time.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think yeah, what is really more interested in is, especially within Auroville, the idea is, because it's so peaceful and so beautiful, and there are so many things that are conducive to creativity. The idea is to make music, rehearse, practice from here, and then take it out. Take it
Mm,
to Bangalore, take it to Chennai, take it to, Pune, Bombay, Delhi, whatever. Like, take it
correct,
to the rest of India. And then come back, regroup, work on your stuff. See if you want to continue with this, or
correct.
you have to
Yeah,
find
yeah.
another permutation.
Yeah,
So
that's a
that's
good
the idea.
way to go about it, huh? Like you don't have to find
Yeah,
places
I,
inside
I would
Pondy to
definitely
play.
say,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it helps, especially now because, it's season, as they say. So all the hotels want some sort of act. So in December, all the musicians are in town. But
Mm,
that's just, 1 month in a year.
mm.
So yeah.
Okay, nice. And let's say I ask this question to most of the musicians. Okay, so if you now want to go to Pondicherry after like studying music or doing something, you're learning music and you want to go to Pondicherry, do you think it's a good place, or is it a good place only if you have that kind of a, let's say, mentality or of just chilling and working, and then because it's not like the other cities like Bangalore and Bombay and stuff.
See, today, if you're someone who most musicians also teach, and if you have a teaching practice, which you can do online, then you could support yourself. I run this place. I'm basically in the hospitality
Hmm.
industry also because we have these rooms. If I didn't have this just on music, it would be very, very difficult. Even if I mean, I did teach also online for some time. It was really tough.
Hmm.
I wouldn't. Either you have like a rich parent supporting you, which also I would not. I don't think that's the way to go about it. Um, or you have some other means in which you can find this. Find income, because at the end of the day, um, it's all about survival. So if you
Correct.
can't survive, then there's no way that you're going to. Music will take a backseat,
Correct.
because at least in my experience, I've needed to have that, some money coming in. So then I can say, okay, I have the liberty to do all of these other things.
Hmm.
So, would I advise that people move to Pondicherry? No, I would not.
But I think you've been in Pondy much before you wanted to stay there, so I think that's how you have the connection to Pondicherry
Yes.
as well, right? And you know a lot of people. You were into theater for some time and stuff. So yeah, when did you start music, and why did you start music?
Okay. Um, I mean, like professionally or just in life?
In life, and then you can talk about
In,
profession. The same.
okay. So I come from a musical family. My dad's side are all very, very musical. My grandmother was, you know, good, a really good Carnatic singer. And all my dad and all of his siblings, they all sing. They can play instruments. So I, I guess I get the gene from them. I was interested in singing from when I was a very young kid. I I would study. I mean, I would listen to songs. I would imitate them, and I also wanted to sing in front of other people. So that was there since I was, I don't know, maybe 3, 4. At least as far that that's when I can remember.
Mhm.
Um, but it was always something that I felt drawn towards, and it was a part of my identity, music, or at least singing. Then when I was 12, I forced my mom to get me a guitar.
Okay.
So she did. And then I started taking lessons at 12. And I was pretty good as well. I think for a 12-year-old, I was pretty good. But then I think it started to come in the way of my academics because I was more interested in the music than I was in studying.
Mhm.
So then there was like, oh no, you know, music class here anymore. So then I kind of didn't take it up seriously. I really wish I had because I think if I had continued with with the same, because it's so much easier to learn when you're young.
Correct.
If I had continued, I think I'd have been a different guitar player now.
Okay.
But I think I had learned enough in that year and a half of guitar studies to kind of go to the next step, which was writing songs. So from I remember when I was a teenager, I'd been writing stuff, uh, whatever about birds and trees and teenage crushes and whatever shit, right? So that went on. Then I think in college it was all about competitions. So you'd have to learn, the most difficult Christina Aguilera or Beyonce pop song, and you'd go and you'd compete. And in my third year, I actually started winning. So till then, it was just, there were people much better than me. But it was great. It was a great learning to, be share the same stage, etc. But from third year, I started winning. So then that gave me confidence
Confidence. Yeah.
to, yeah, to think that, okay, maybe this was something that even then I hadn't thought that it could be a career because who nobody is there to say okay like this is an option.
Correct.
I mean it's not even a viable option but it's an option. So yeah, I got out of college. I started working in corporate for some time, and then I had started a little jazz duo with my friend Abhishek.
Mhm.
And we would it was just guitar and voice, and I would learn up standards and he would accompany me, and we started performing. And he was the one who told me about Swarnabhumi.
Okay.
And I said, what rubbish. There can't be a place like Swarnabhumi, you're joking. And he said, no, no, some really good musicians have come out of there.
Mhm.
And I think 10 days after he told me that, I had enrolled with Sam. Or actually, I was at Sam.
That's
So yeah, so then yeah, from then after I got to Sam, I think then you're you're told how this can be a career, and if you do this and if you do this and if you follow these things, then it's possible for you to call yourself a musician. So I think I had to go through that, and then once I got out of that, there was the whole question of okay, now I have this. How am I going to make money out of it? Because just because you go to music school doesn't mean that you're good enough to perform.
correct.
But I think having gone to Sam also gave you a certain what can I say a certain validation or legitimacy about what you were doing.
Mhm.
So that helped. And then after that, we met and it was teaching, and yeah, that's just how it's been. You know the story after that.
Yeah, yeah, I know. Do you make that kind of money playing now, or otherwise just being yourself?
With music alone, No, definitely not. But that's just because of, I mean, I know there are musicians who do make that kind of money with music alone.
Hmm.
I'm not one of them, but there are people who do that. Uh, so just, I mean, personally speaking, of course not.
Hmm.
But having said that, with the space that I'm running, with the events and other music related community things,
Hmm.
yes, we are coming close now.
Going forward, what are you? What do you want to achieve? Is there something that you want to achieve as a musician?
As a musician, I mean, I'm kind of past that stage where I'm looking at it as just, what can I do for myself? Because with enough practice and, with a certain goal oriented attitude, you can always get to where you want to get to. But that's not enough.
Hmm.
Right now, I'm thinking about community, which is why my mom and I, we've decided to make this into a foundation.
Okay.
And for me, most difficult has been, when I decide to take a project on the road.
Mhm.
Uh, there aren't enough people who are ethical, in I mean, okay, you go to a venue, they give you a place, but everything surrounding that,
Mhm.
from travel to logistics to, even sound sometimes, you really have to fight with them. And
Right.
it kind of takes away from the experience of playing as a band.
Hmm.
And this burden or this falls on, say, one person. If you're not being, even if you are being represented by an events agency or a manager or whatever, um, it, it's too much to take for an independent band right now. If especially if you want to remain independent, you want to write you have your songs to say and perform, and you want to have your own voice.
Hmm.
All the extraneous things surrounding that
Hmm.
is very difficult. So I want, with this foundation, I want to be able to make, or at least one of the goals is definitely make it easier for other people, for other bands to tour and to find legitimate spaces and where you're not taken advantage of, and it doesn't have to be so difficult.
Hmm.
So the foundation bit, which we're going to, we've already started the process.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe there are. I'm not sure, but essentially, what I'd like to. I think I'd like to think that we're probably one of the only people who are thinking about it.
Okay.
So, of course, that's only as far as I know. Maybe there are others. I'm not sure, but I'll find out once the things are in motion. And then in January and February, we have workshops here at Dorian House. So I think I'm going to be here for some time.
Okay. Yeah, there's one thing I wanted to ask. So there's something called perfection, right? Like, so, most musicians want to achieve that perfection
Right,
kind of thing.
right.
Do you think that it's necessary to see that as a goal, or do you think
Mhm.
that a person probably who's got a different style of playing, maybe not perfect, could still manage to sustain themselves while playing?
Yeah, absolutely. Why not? Um, I think if you're chasing after this perfection, then yeah, sure, it's a good goal to have, no doubt. And you want to sound like your idols. I want to sound like my idols. Why not? But you have to also look at what are the things that are in your way. Most of your idols would have started, before they could start speaking, they were probably already at an instrument. So, and it's different. Like I said, when you're learning, when you're young, you're just able to absorb the concepts much better. Um, I would say it's important to make a fool of yourself and to go back and sleep. that night, have a troubled sleep with your mind saying, "How could you do that? Like you made a mistake here. You were off pitch there. You were this, that, this." But cumulatively over the years, you'll find that you're grateful for all of those mistakes because you're better. You're just better, and you're inching closer to your goal. And I would say if you reach your goal too soon, then what's left for you? You know, so um, be bad, be terrible.
Okay.
Take it, but be honest in your
About it,
in your
yes.
terribleness. Like just about it. Yeah, just go have fun. Sound like shit. But you're not going to sound like shit forever. If you're sounding like shit forever, then that's a problem.
That's a problem. That's
That's a problem. Then you need to ask yourself, like, is this worth it? Am I on the right path? But when you play and um, when you make mistakes, that mistake is going to reflect the most within you. So you are your biggest critic and your biggest enemy. So if you can put that aside and just focus on the bigger picture, I think that would really help.